Hello everybody, my name is Adam Bergman and this is The Adam Bergman Show. In today's episode, I will be talking about Sam Bankman-Fried, I will be talking about Gary Wang, I will be talking about Caroline Ellison, and I will be talking about this absolute crypto nightmare as the collapse of FTX, aka the real crypto winter. Some information that I'm going to be talking about today is brand new information. Some information that I'm going to be talking about is a little older, but you might have missed it. And some information is going to be just my own contemplation and thoughts about the entire situation that we have in front of us. If this is something that you might enjoy, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Before we go any further, can I please ask you for one thing? Do me a favor and smile. Go ahead and put this little U-shaped design on your face. I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better if you're smiling, and it's going to make my life a lot easier and a lot smoother to give you this episode. With that said, let's get right into the video. Earlier this month, in the middle of December, Sam Bankman-Fried was extradited from the Bahamas. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried could have dragged on the extradition probably for several years, as the Bahamas really did want to try this entire case. They didn't want to lose jurisdiction for many different reasons. Number one, there was probably some foul play. And number two, they wanted all the hype about this case because this is a lot of eyeballs and a lot of heirs for the country of Bahamas. But Sam Bankman-Fried decided to be extradited and he gave up the fight. In return, it's rumored that's why he got a bail, although that bail was set at $250 million, which I'll get into right now. On December 22nd, he was let out on that $250 million bail. The interesting thing about that bail is there was something called a recognizance bond. And a recognizance bond is when somebody signs up and says, hey, we're going to take responsibility for this bond. And if Sam Bankman-Fried happens to go on the run, we are on the hook for everything in our life. Let me explain a little deeper. Sam Bankman-Fried's parents put up their $4 million house as collateral. But normally, if you have a bond for bail, the bond is around 10 to 20% of the amount of bail. In this case, it would be somewhere between $25 to $50 million put up. In this case, that did not happen. They put up their house as collateral and they signed this bond. And if something happens and he runs away, they're going to go after everything, their retirement account, their investment accounts, their pension funds, so on and so forth. He still has to name two more people that are going to be responsible for the bond. You understand, when it comes to a recognizance bond, it can't just be your family, and he still has to name two more people that are going to co-sign this bond. And I'm very, very interested to see who is actually going to co-sign this bond. Gary Wang, who was the CTO of FTX, and Caroline Ellison, who was the CEO of Alameda Research, are cooperating witnesses and then did a plea of guilty. They are cooperating with the government against Sam Bankman-Fried. Interestingly enough, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang admitted to wrongdoing, admitted that they knew and admitted that Sam Bankman-Fried knew what they were doing was absolutely wrong. This was not just a mistake of, hey, we made a mistake and it is what it is, we messed up. No, this is an absolute 100% fraud that we have in front of us. And I think everybody pretty much knows this and they're just playing stupid. And I honestly hope that the judge really does throw the book at them. Even if there's a plea deal, I hope they really do get life in jail because they deserve it. In my personal opinion, they hurt so many people in this crypto world, whether it's directly or indirectly, they literally tanked the entire crypto market. And I'm not just making this up. You could look at the end of November, crypto markets started making a comeback, a little bull run in a bear market, and then it was just down, down, baby after this announcement. The interesting thing is there was a judge, Judge Ronnie Abrams, and she actually stepped down right after giving bail to Sam Bankman-Fried, which is pretty suspicious if you ask me, or let's say convenience of timing. She quoted, her husband's law firm consulted FTX in 2021 and there might be a conflict of interest, but there was no conflict of interest when you gave him $250 million of bail. By the way, with the bail, he's actually going to be staying in his parents' $4 million home. He has to wear an ankle bracelet or a cankle, as we like to say, and he's not allowed to spend more than $1,000 without getting permission for the courts. Besides for this, he could only leave the house to actually go do some exercising. But in reality, you can make up any excuse you want and you could do whatever the heck you want and call it exercise. Let's just be honest here. The new judge on the case is called Judge Lewis Kaplan, and Judge Lewis Kaplan is going to be presiding over the arraignment on January 3rd. The arraignment is going to be in the Southern District of New York. And if you're unfamiliar with what an arraignment is when you read the official charges and then the defendant gets to put in a plea. He can put in a plea of guilty or a plea of not guilty. Now, I'm not an attorney, so if you are an attorney and you want to comment on this, feel free to comment down below, but that is my understanding from my specific viewpoint. In my opinion, I don't see him pleading guilty. I think he's going to run this until the end and plead not guilty. Plus, there might be some nefarious foul play here where he might be taking a run, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Again, this is just rumors and speculation. I don't want to say that anything here is fact. I'm just giving you the news as I'm hearing it, and I'm going to back up what I'm telling you with actually what's happening in the world right now through the news. I'm not just pulling things out of a hat. There was a court affidavit that was filed, and it says that Sam Bankman-Fried borrowed $546 million from Alameda to buy a 7.6% share of Robinhood. That's right, that little trading app that went absolutely berserk in 2021 and 2020. Sam Bankman-Fried owns 7.6% of that. And Sam Bankman-Fried got that how? He put his hand in the freaking cookie jars, aka your pockets. This guy is absolutely despicable. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, can I please ask you for one favor? What I need from you is to absolutely decimate, destroy, discombobulate, seek, and absolutely obliterate, like literally taking a chokehold and kill that like button. I need two things to happen when you destroy that like button. I need YouTube to send me an invoice and a bill for breaking the like button, and I need Graham Stephan to call me and cry me a river. I want him to say, hey Berg, your subscribers broke the like button, and because they broke the like button, my subscribers can no longer smash the like button. Thank you so much. Let's get right back into the video. Over $500 million absolutely robbed from the public in order for greed and absolute lust for power in the name of an adrenaline junkie who slept on a freaking beanbag and ate cucumbers all day long. This guy is a freaking scumbag in my personal opinion and nothing more. Now, there is a separate case for viability of the Robinhood shares. There's a total of 56 million shares and it's worth $450 million right now. The four separate entities is Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, BlockFi, and FTX creditors. And Alameda actually defaulted to BlockFi. That's why they're going after these shares for $680 million. Man, it's crazy how everything is absolutely intertwined. Terra Luna collapses, Three Arrows Capital collapses, BlockFi collapses, and literally everybody owes somebody some type of money. Even Voyager is owed by Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX or one of the subsidiaries, if I'm not mistaken. And if you remember, Sam Bankman-Fried actually gave a revolving credit line to Voyager to try to survive. It is absolutely freaking nuts what the heck is happening. And actually, Sam Bankman-Fried wanted to bail out Voyager, probably to hide this collapse. Probably because he didn't want people digging into, hey, where's the freaking money? On a side note, CZ actually came in, and instead of offering $1.4 billion for Voyager, just like Sam Bankman-Fried did, he actually offered them $1.022 billion plus $15 million to cover any expenses, not to mention a $10 million deposit as a good faith. It was probably the second best offer that they had at the time, but they obviously went with Sam Bankman-Fried, who offered them more. It's turning out that Sam Bankman-Fried is a scumbag, and for now, CZ is actually the white knight of cryptocurrency. Now, the SEC put up a new filing, which was very, very interesting. They said that Sam Bankman-Fried invested $200 million into two separate companies, $100 million each. And again, where did he get that money? From FTX Ventures, aka your freaking pockets once again. Between this $200 million, which I'll get into in just a moment, and the money that he took in order to buy Robinhood, this accounts for $750 million right there. I know it's shy of a few $1 billion that he still owes and that still needs to be found, but slowly but surely this web is untangling and we are starting to understand where all the money went. At the end of the day, as I said, greed, lust for power, vegan chips, cucumbers, and beanbags. This is what this was all about. So $100 million was invested into a company called Dave, and that happened to be a fintech company. The next one is a little more interesting. $100 million was invested into a company called MySten Labs of a total $300 million invested. MySten Labs is considered a Web3 company, and besides for Sam Bankman-Fried, believe it or not, Coinbase was an investor as well as Binance was an investor. Now, the most interesting thing about all of this, as Sam Bankman-Fried gets out of jail, there are a couple of wallets from Alameda that were dormant, but they're now converting ERC20s for Ethereum and USDT. They're offloading them to different wallets, and then they're taking those wallets and converting it to Bitcoin. Now, let me explain to you what that is. ERC20s are just tokens built on Ethereum. And what happens is in DeFi, you have a wallet. On that wallet, you have all of these DeFi projects, which are all of these tokens. If you want to offload the tokens, you have to convert the tokens into their native currency. So they're taking some type of tokens from the Ethereum blockchain, and there are a bunch of them. I'll leave a link in the description down below. You guys can track it yourself. It's all on Twitter. Feel free to look through the actual blockchain, the Etherscan. And they're converting these ERC20 tokens into Ethereum, and then they're also converting these ERC20 tokens into stable coins. They're then sending that into a different wallet, and once it hits that other wallet, a lot of times it goes into central exchanges. Once it goes to central exchanges, it's very hard to follow what's happening. And a lot of these are starting to being converted into Bitcoin. And then there's always scramblers when they're sending it, so on and so forth. You see, the public is really good at being detectives. The public is fantastic at tracking the blockchain. At the end of the day, the blockchain is immutable. The problem is when things go off the blockchain onto central exchanges. A lot of people think that when they have cryptocurrency on central exchanges like a Binance, like an FTX, like a Coinbase, a KuCoin, Kraken, whatever, that they actually own the cryptocurrency. They don't. They're a little mark on the ledger book of the central exchange. The central exchange actually owns the cryptocurrency. When you're trading cryptocurrency in the central exchange, let's say algorand for Cardano, or Cardano for Ethereum, or Ethereum for Ethereum for BNB, doesn't make a difference. It's all a little check mark on a ledger book. Nothing actually happens, nothing actually hits the blockchain until you withdraw it from the exchange, or when you're taking from the blockchain and sending it, when you're taking it from the blockchain, aka DeFi, and sending it to a central exchange. So going in and going out of the exchange, you can see. But what happens on that specific exchange, you cannot see. And if you swap on that exchange and then withdraw cash from the exchange, fiat, into your specific wallet, like your real world wallet, not blockchain wallet, it's nearly impossible to track unless the exchange is cooperating. And many exchanges will not be cooperating with the government unless there is a warrant to cooperate with the government, aka what happened in Canada with the Kraken exchange. Guys, this is getting absolutely absurd. This is getting absolutely insane. Caroline Ellison and Wong are probably going to be getting 50 years. I hope they get 50 years. Definitely they're going to be getting decades behind bars. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried is probably going to get life behind bars to make an example of him. Unless he has some secrets. And if he has some secrets, I don't really want to say it on camera. You guys understand and can read between the lines. I guess time will tell if Sam Bankman-Fried is going to be eating vegan fries in jail, or if Sam Bankman-Fried never gets to jail for one way, shape, or form. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, definitely click on this video down below. You guys are definitely going to enjoy it. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.